What's good, YouTube? It is Jolt33 here, and I'm coming at you with my Week 4 match for the Indigo GBA Battling League. And this is against my friend Levine. Yeah. One thing about Levine is funny, actually. In the first season that we ever played together, he had, like, no defensive Pokemon, and was, like, straight hyper offense, and it was insane because he would just sweep people at the time. And the season is no different, funny enough. His bulkiest Pokemon is a Mega Blastoise, which is quite bulky, but that's it. So, when preparing for this, I wanted sort of like some bulk mixed with some like anti-sweep me Pokemon. And so we've got this, and I think we're ready to go. So let's send the challenge. Okay, just waiting for him to accept. Let me get rid of that chat so you guys don't have to look at that. Yeah, we're just kind of waiting. So yeah, let's see what he brings. As he does bring the Scolipede, which I was afraid of. And Jolteon and Gyarados I am not afraid of, because they can't touch Florges and Mamoswine, respectively. Florges and Vaporeon, respectively. And he brought his one spinner and his one rocker. Pretty safe to leave with Sashed Mamo. I don't really see a problem with it. As he leads with this. Now, I ran a Calc. I will outspeed him if he's adamant, and I will one-shot with Earthquake. So if he's Jolly, he will outspeed. And if he's not Jolly, I will one-shot him. Maybe I should have gone for Stealth Rock there, but if I one-shot him and keep my Sash intact, which I am sashed, that would just be so amazing. As I don't one-shot him, he gets up Rocks, which sucks. Now I'm gonna get up Rocks. He switches out into his Gyarados. So I go for my Rocks, of course. And I don't want him to break the Sash, even though the Stealth Rocks will do that. So I'm going to switch out here into the Vaporeon, because the Gyarados, no matter what it does, cannot touch the Vaporeon. So that is my switch, as I debated staying in because I have a Sash intact, and I could deal some decent-ish damage, but there really was no point, and I ultimately decide to switch into the Vaporeon, as you see me put there. And so Vaporeon comes in, and he goes for Dragon Dance. And now that's not a problem, because the most he can do with any hit, I believe Earthquake does like 40% at this point, and so I'm completely free to do whatever I want. I could Scald, but I ultimately decide to Roar, because the Blastoise has a relatively free switch in here, and that's what I was expecting him to come in and Rapid Spin the Rocks. But ultimately, he does not do that. He goes for a Crunch just to get some damage off. And as we can see here in a second, that the Crunch actually is going to do like 30%. It's nothing to this Vaporeon. And so that's, you can see right there, it's like 29%. And that's very good information. Unfortunately, I switch him into the Jolteon, and so my dedicated switch for a Specs Jolteon is this Florges, because it cannot be 2-hit KO'd by the Specs. And so that's really good for me. So, like, this Jolteon can do nothing to Florges, and I know that. So I'm expecting a Volt switch here. I debated going into Mamoswine to predict that, but the Florges is just safer, because if I need Mamoswine to take a hit, I don't want it to get weakened. As he switches into the Tyrantrum, which is perfectly fine with me. Actually, it's not, no, because if he went for Outrage, I would switch in this, but he did not. And so I'm switching into my Hitmontop, because Hitmontop's job is to have a good Technician Mach Punch against the majority of my opponent's team. Because if you look at like the Kyurem and this Tyrantrum and like even Jolteon, which just does good. He went for the Head Smash there, and that did nothing. I'm assuming he would be going for like an Outrager here to kill me, but I went for Mach Punch, hoping he'd stay in. I almost went for Close Combat, predicting the Gyarados, but it just wasn't worth it when he could easily just stay in and kill me. And he will outspeed. I didn't speed creep this because I can't. I could speed creep Adamant one, which this is actually. Maybe I should have done that, but I didn't. And that gets dropped. Lovely. And so he goes out into the Gyarados. Again, I didn't put anything on this Hitmontop to touch the Gyarados, but I don't need to because I have the Vaporeon, which is just a switch in every time. And so it wasn't a big deal. So Dragon Dance, and yeah, it's just not a big deal. I go for, I think, Wish there, because my Vaporeon was getting a little low. Just from like the 2 rock switch-ins and then the little crunch. And I know the crunch will only do like the 27%, I think that was. And I'm back. I'm sorry about that. My family walked in a little bit, but that's okay. And so I'll probably post-com those parts and just voice that over. But so I keep switching around, and it's good for me because he keeps switching in this Pokemon weak to Stealth Rocks, and Hitmontop actually got rid of the Tyrantrum, which is beautiful. He can't kill me here, so I can just freely go for Scald. And as he will predict a Protect more than likely. I could have also Roared, but if I keep him in, as he goes for Dragon Dance, then I can just Wish here, and it's a good time. Yeah, there's just nothing this Gyarados can do to me. It's Crunch, it's not Stab. Earthquake would be his hardest hitting move, which I don't know why he doesn't have it. Maybe he does, I don't know. But see, that's at 40%. And now I can just freely Roar. I'm glad I roared there. Scolipede. Scolipede has leftover, so it's gonna want to sub. I'm gonna Scald. Vaporeon actually puts in a lot of work against his team. Poison Jab did nothing. And that almost 2-hit KO'd him. If he Poison Jabs again, I go down a lot. Which is a bit of a problem. But I killed the Scolipede, which is a big problem for my team. So I'm gonna Scald again? I could Wish. But I would have to risk a second poison, so I'm gonna go for Scald. As he goes for SD, getting greedy on the Wish, and he dies, which is beautiful. Scolipede's down and out. That could have been a huge problem for my team. As he's gonna want to spin here, and I really can't let him. So first off, I'm protecting. And then I can't really dodge the spin. He was for Aura Sphere. Maybe he doesn't have the spin. Into Florges I go. If he didn't pack Rapid Spin and they stay up, that's beautiful. But I don't have any Ghost Pokemon on my draft, which was one of the problems. So maybe I'll get my free agent for a Ghost. It's Aura Sphere. It's 14 actually. That's a decent amount. I'm gonna go for the Toxic here. Just in case he wants to switch into, like, I guess, Gyarados. Maybe Moonblast was a better idea. But no, he's gonna stay in more than likely. And Toxicking this is amazing. As he switches into Kyurem Black. What's a Kyurem Black gonna do to a Florges? Hold on, let me protect. Let me just scout a bit. As he has the Iron Head. Very interesting. Into Vaporeon I go. That's really predictable, though. I'm gonna do I mean, actually, that Gyarados is still a problem. I'm gonna go into Hitmontop, actually. Because this is the only thing that Hitmontop really hits left. That's not gonna kill me, and Mach Punch will do a considerable amount to him. If I was feeling cheeky, I could go for the close combat, predicting the Gyarados. But Vaporeon walls Gyarados indefinitely. Mach Punch. He just lets that... Oh, that's a crit. I feel a little bad about that. But I don't know what toxic damage would have been, and it might not have mattered. He has 3 choices. 2 of them are walled by Florges. The third I can switch into Vaporeon. So I'm just gonna go into the Florges. Because if I were him, I would go into the Jolteon. Actually, Big Bird. Big Bird seems good here. He goes into Blastoise. And I'm gonna Volt Switch. Yes. As he does predict that and goes out into the Jolteon. Good play on his part. I'm gonna switch into Florges. I'm gonna Wish. Using Gyarados. Can Gyarados one-shot me? Florges. Gyarados. I'm just gonna assume max attack Adamant. Waterfall does 46%. He can't. So I am Moonblasting. And down goes the Gyarados. Oh, the Gyarados. Haha, I just saw that name. And I don't think he can kill the Florges now. Goes into the Blastoise. And I'm going to Toxic. This end might get a little bit stally, but I don't think so. So now I can Wish. I had to protect there, because if this floor just like wins me the game, and so there's no point to sacrificing it. I'll go for a Wish here. This is gonna get a little bit stally, and I'm sorry, but floor just beats both of these Pokemon 2v1. So, well, I mean, not double battle, but 1v1, I guess. So there's no point for me trying anything. And I'm gonna Moonblast. Because unless he gets Thunderbolts, Para, and then full Paras, like I can just Wish here, and then Moonblast. And yeah, that should be the game, basically. I'm just gonna Moonblast twice, because he can't KO me. And this will kill. Actually, I only need Moonblast once. So, good game, Levine. It's a fun game. And, I'll see you next time. So, if you enjoyed the battle, like, comment, subscribe, and stay around, because I will be doing more stuff with my channel when I get a little, more time. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and stay being awesome. Goodbye.